Hey yo, what is going on with the Empire and the DTA Army? Welcome back to another daily analysis. So the first thing I have to say is, what's up with all the noise, right? Why is everyone becoming so fearful when the market price doesn't reflect the speculative value? Why get scared when market pullbacks come, right? Some people actually take advantage of these pullbacks because they're great for entry positions. Others sell, and they sell mostly based upon their emotions. Now, emotions have to go out the window when you're investing. Otherwise, you may be that person who regrets selling later on down the line. We all know that AMP is a long term investment. It's not a short term get rich quick token, right? So, without further ado, let's hop into our daily analysis. All right, now taking a look at AMP on CoinGecko.com, we can see that today we are currently down 8.1%, and we've been floating in between this 0.061 to 0.068 range for the last 24 hours. Now, taking a look at AMP on Etherscan, we can actually see that we broke the 33,000 holder mark. We're currently up 0.29%. And I think the interesting thing about AMP is that you know, however price action tends to move, we are accumulating more holders on a daily basis. We're getting more holders, and these holders are accumulating AMP on a daily. So, that just goes to show that there is value in AMP. And, the new investors, whether they're here for the short term or the long term, they understand that AMP has value attached to it, right? And they are here and they are learning about this token more and more and more, especially as spending crypto starts to gain mass attention, right? So I think that this is pretty interesting. No matter how the price of AMP moves, we're getting more holders on a daily basis, right? It's an interesting phenomenon, and I think that if any other cryptocurrency experiences this, the closest one will be Bitcoin, right? And we see that from institutional players accumulating Bitcoin on a daily basis, no matter what the price is, right? I think Michael Saylor is one of the great champions of Bitcoin. He's buying at all levels. It doesn't matter because he understands where this is going in the long term, right? And that's sort of what we're going to talk about at the end of today's daily analysis video. So let's hop right into our charts and take a look at what's going on. So looking at AMP on a daily basis, we can see that we are pulling back a little bit more, right? This pullback is extending further, but again, we have this bull flag formation, right? And we actually did come down to the 0.063 level, which I called in daily analysis number 47, right? So if you had a buy entry here, then that was a great entry price. If you bought in at the 7 cents mark, then again, that's still a great entry point because we all know where this is going in the long run. This is not a short term investment, right? And if we apply the Fibonacci retracement tool from where we started our impulse all the way up to the top of 0.092 cents, we can actually see that we wicked down just to the Fib 618, right? Now the Fib 0.38, the Fib zero point 0.5, and the Fib 0.618. Those are notorious pullback levels, right? So I expect us to see some sort of reversal or, potentially moving sideways here now that we have hit the Fib 0.618, right? And we also know that, there is quite a bit of bull presence in the markets, right? And we know that for a fact because we have these long wicks at the bottom of these bearish candles. But if we go back in history, right, if we look at June 28th as well as July 7th, these are two candles where bull presence showed up, right? And we see them showing up again here August 3rd, right? So we know that we have support here at these levels. So that's what we have going on with the daily. Now let's hop into the 4 hour. Right now on the 4 hour, we can see that, we did fall out of our bullish pennant market structure, right? Now, this isn't necessarily anything to worry about. And I say that for a few reasons, right? So normally when market structures are broken, there is likely to be a retest, right? And that's what I have charted here, right? A retest to come back to the support line of the market structure, right? This could also possibly be a false breakdown. And we saw that with Bitcoin, right? How Bitcoin dropped all the way to 28K and now it's sitting up at the 38K levels, right? Um, Now, when this retest does come, there's a few scenarios that could happen, right? We could be successful in getting above the resistance or getting back to the support of this market structure, and then we could possibly move to get above the resistance of the market structure like that before going up and testing the resistance above it, right? Now, if that does not work, right? Let's say we retest, but the retest fails. Then we could see lower levels, right? We could come down and fall below where this bull presence is, retest that, and then move down lower to, the 0.055 mark. That will be our next area of support. Looking right here, right? This was a lot of sell pressure, right? And we had a initial bullish pennant right here. That's taken away from the chart for obvious reasons. But then we broke above that, right? So we know exactly where our next area of support is, but now we're just waiting for, the retest to get back to the support of this market structure to happen. All right. So that's what we have going on with the 4 hour. Last but not least, let's look at the 1 hour. I mean, on the 1 hour, we can see that, we haven't even really started this retest yet, right? Like we're still fairly early. Like we just fell out of this market structure, right? So I expect us to possibly retest to get back to the support of this market structure, which would place us right at the 0.065 level sometime within the next 48 hours, right? So we have to be patient, and time will tell us if we're able to get back to the support of that market structure or if we're going to be moving to lower levels. So that's what we have going on with AMP. But let's take a look at Bitcoin, see what's going on here. So what's interesting about Bitcoin's chart is that, it looks very similar to AMP, right? Bitcoin is putting in a bull flag after, this massive impulse. Let's measure to see, how far Bitcoin actually moves from that false breakdown. So, from that false breakdown, Bitcoin moved up 38% over the course of 11 days. Now that's pretty amazing for Bitcoin, right? 11 days straight bull presence, and now we're seeing, the pullback that is healthy, and this pullback is a bull flag, right? That's exactly what we want to see. What's also interesting about Bitcoin is that if we use the fib retracement tool as well, we can see, how far we could pull back. Now we've already pulled back to the fib 38, and we're also seeing, long wicks at the bottom of the candles, which is letting us know that bull presence is there. Now it is possible that we could come down to the fib zero point 0.5, which will place us right at the 36K mark. And if we fall lower, the next level of support using the fib retracement tool would be the 34.5K range. Now we don't know exactly how far we'll come down. We really just have to, monitor to see when this pullback stops. But, ultimately, we do have a lot of bull presence with Bitcoin. We know that just from looking at the candles, and we know that pullbacks are healthy. In addition to, knowing that the trend is our friend until the very end. So, we really just have to be patient to see when this pullback will end, because we know that for right now, anyway, AMP is definitely correlated and pegged to Bitcoin, like the rest of the cryptocurrency market. So that's what we have going on for Bitcoin and AMP. But just to leave y'all off with something to think about, AMP is also getting listed on Flux Protocol. right? Which is another DeFi lending application. Now, this is great for AMP. This is great exposure in the DeFi world. But again, we have to manage our expectations. This new listing is not going to move the price of AMP. Long-term investors are waiting for AMP to be utilized. They're waiting for different developers and different protocols to build on AMP. They're waiting for AMP to start to put out different products into the market, right? That utility is what they're waiting for. And that utility is what is going to move the price of AMP, not new listings. All right. So we really just have to manage our expectations and understand that, yes, this is good. This is allowing more investors to grab AMP, and this is providing more liquidity for AMP throughout the crypto and broader markets. So again, just manage your expectations. And if you're curious, let's just look at AMP from a bird's eye view, right? This is something we haven't done traditionally with these daily analysis, but let's just look at AMP from a bird's eye view, right? Let's look at all of the market data that we have for AMP, right? And we can see the trend that it's currently in, right? And if we look at when the data starts for AMP on coin on TradingView, we can see that the first monthly candle starts September 1st. We are in the month of August. AMP hasn't even been able to gather 1 year's worth of data on the charts yet, right? Once we get that 1 year's worth of data, then we can start to forecast and benchmark year over year returns. But we haven't even got there yet, y'all. We haven't got there yet. So let's measure to see, from the time AMP started to put data on the charts for TradingView to right now, right? Let's see how much we've gained in value. So from the time AMP was listed on Gemini to today's date, if you got in early September when price was 0.006, then you have earned 1,014% in returns. 1,014.79% in returns. And it hasn't even been a year yet. So, this is just perspective, right? This return happened over the course of 11 months, right? Let's imagine where this is going to go in 10 years, right? Same thing with Bitcoin. Bitcoin wasn't always at, 34,000 or 40,000 or 64,000. It took time, right? It takes time, guys. It takes time. So can you weather the storm? Can you be patient? Can you continue to dollar cost average? Will you take advantage of these buying levels? It's really up to you as an investor. So that's all I have for y'all today. If you like this content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. And until tomorrow, DTA is out.